of all the sports teams that exist, certain countries have a big one or two, but we're proud to say our podcast is about the biggest team in the entire world.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah! This is the World's Team Podcast. All about the world's team, the Dallas Cowboys, baby. We're here to redefine what it means to be a fan of the gridiron game. It's not just America's team anymore. Nope. We're taking that star-studded pride and spreading it across the globe. Each week, we dive into all things Cowboys. From game analysis that'll have you on the edge of your seat, to reactions and all the latest news. Whether it's free agency frenzy, draft day drama, or injury reports that make us want to hug our lucky jerseys a little tighter. We're bringing in fan groups from all over the place, from Germany, France, Brazil, the UK, Canada, Japan. Everybody gets to share their 2 cents on America's favorite team.
And here we go!
America's team, Mexico's team, world's team, my Dallas Cowboys.
And now your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
Hello, Cowboys Nation. Today is Friday, the 18th of October. Oh my goodness, I almost got my month wrong there.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about you, man, but yeah. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the World's Team, bringing Dallas Cowboys fans from all across the world. As you can tell, my words are already getting mixed up. Reason why? I'm not frankly happy about the situation with the Dallas Cowboys at this very moment. But before we do dive into that, let's bring in my brother in arms, Mr. Mike Poland. You can find him on bloggingtheboys.com and check his articles out before I can even speak today, Mike. I'm that
you got it.
Annoyed. I'm screwing up the introductions right now.
You got it, bro. You got it. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Obviously, I was away last week, so you were with obviously with Nix. Great guy, love him.
Big shout out to your guy Nix, pretty much the king of Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, that you will. We had a great chat, trying to go in depth of the pre-game show, but man, we did not anticipate what we witnessed on Sunday. I honestly, mate, I am lost for words. I really am. I knew we were going to lose the game, but it was the lack of fight in this team that really annoyed me. It really did. It bothered me so much, dude. I was literally, I felt hollow. I felt empty just watching that. And I don't know about you, man. I do have to question about the direction where we're going right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got there with the Lions a perfect storm, right? The Cowboys are underperforming. There's no doubt about that. Coaching is a problem. The players are a problem. Attitude can be somewhat of a problem in certain players. But what you also had is a Dallas Cowboys team that was heavily injured, missing a lot of pieces on the defensive line. Key player at linebacker, key player at wide receiver. You've got Tyler Guyton out as well on the offensive line, so the cohesion of that unit was all out of whack. On top of that, then, you've got the running backs who are completely taken out of the equation because of the way the game is played. And then to add to the perfect storm, you're talking about a Lions team playing on the road that is on fire at the moment. Like, their aspirations wasn't just to beat the Cowboys. It was to completely tan them after last season as well. But also, it was to make a statement as they go further into this season. Yeah, they go into the playoffs. They are going, as far as they're concerned, they want their sights are firmly set on a deep.
To me, they're the top dogs of the NFC right now. And credit is due. The Lions came out to ball out. They played with fire. They were automatic. They trusted their teammates. They knew what they were doing. Their defense was on point what they were doing. And yeah, I totally agree. And we were talking to I was talking to one of the guys from the UK Lions podcast yesterday on the UK Cowboys fans, and it was all mutual respect. Like he kind of felt sorry for us. He felt sorry for us, and so we kind of appreciate the sympathy, I guess. But I'm just more angry at the fact that we didn't put up any fight, if any at all. But when you look at this Lions team and the players that they've got, they're very well balanced all across the board. Like even from some of their star players that have been out, all the backups are doing their job. At this moment with the Cowboys, the guys that were like replacing their starters and stuff like that, there's a big drop off where it comes to it. Massive drop off. Whether it's O-line, whether it's running back, whether it's in the secondary. Well, don't get me started with the secondary because I do have a lot of qualms about that as of right now. But yeah, Mike, just give me your thoughts overall. Just as the season is, where do we stand right now?
It's finicky. The issue is this game, it's played in the trenches. Yeah, this game it's all about what you do up front. Cowboys offensive line, defensive line, both at the moment are just in trouble. They are struggling big time. And the problem is people have asked me this question this week: is what sort of player should the Cowboys go and get, to help them out? And it's like, unfortunately, guys, you already know the answer to this question because they told you the answer to this question before the season started, when all they really did is they went out and they went, oh, we'll get Eric Kendricks to come in. And you were just like, and that's it? And they were like, and that's it. And then as the season got a little bit closer, they made some moves with the defensive line. They kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel. They got Carl Lawson, which is, okay, fine. But like, that's it. That's your answer. So your answer is, there is no one. It's not that there isn't anyone to get. It's just that there is no one that they will go and get. So I think what the answer to the question is on what it is for this season. I think what Jerry and the front office have decided before the season started is this was a write-off season. That they wanted to write this season off, do the best that they can, get into next season. They'll be able to expunge some of the players off the roster. They get more cap, and they restart this thing all over again.
I suppose in a way, because when you really think about it, like even though our chances of making the playoffs are like as we stand right now is very slim to none, but if we were to tank, say for example, if we were to tank, that means we need to pay more in contracts when it comes to the draft. That's another thing people are not really talking about that much. So I can understand from that part, we can save money by actually getting more wins under the win column, but it still stinks the fact that we're at home as it stands right now. And this is including the Green Bay game I'm about to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. So in the last 4 home games, the Dallas Cowboys have only scored 85 points, right? In the opposite direction, the Cowboys have given up a total of 167 points in the last 4 home games. Bear that in mind. Some of those games were garbage time. Bear that in mind. It had no significance. It kind of devalues the points that we put on the board a little bit. So you're pretty much talking essentially one third of the total points that we've given up, essentially. But here's more to add. This season alone, this is not including the Green Bay game from last year. At home, we've had no rusher on our team going past 30 yards per game at home. Not one. Where it's Dowdo, Zeke, Dusvon. None. This season also, at home, Dak Prescott has been sacked 10 times in 3 games. And here's the really sad part. And I'm a big Brandon Aubrey fan, Mike. I love Brandon. And this is the only thing I'm so happy about my team right now. The only thing as it stands right now. Brandon Aubrey has scored 60 out of a total of 126 total offense points. Total offense points. So that's including touchdowns, defensive touchdown points, like in terms of like pick sixes, everything. Absolutely fun. Brandon Aubrey is almost got 50% of the total points that Dallas Cowboys have scored this season.
It's
I'm happy for Brandon Aubrey, but
obviously,
but as a reflection on the whole team, that is simply embarrassing. Embarrassing.
And here's the crazy bit, right? In the bit, I can rub some salt in the wound on your stats there. You said about the rushing stats. So against the Lions, the Cowboys, as a team, rushed for 53 yards. Tony Pollard in week 6 rushed for 93 yards on his own. Great, isn't it?
I don't think here. So to me, I'm a bit conflicted with the whole running back core and like Tony Pollard, because even if Tony Pollard was still here, I think we would be still in the same situation. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, Mike, I really do. And as much we do have talented offensive linemen in our disposal right now, we do. Like, time will tell with Tyler Guyton, because he is a big rookie playing on the left side, where he played the majority on the right in college. We all know that. Cooper Beebe is slowly building this momentum up as a rookie, never playing the center position ever in his career. He's only snapped at it at a college level, but never played a snap in a real game situation.
Yeah.
And you've got Zach Martin, who's obviously in somewhat of a decline. Whether that be, I don't know, it's that time or he's got an existing injury we're unaware of, we don't know, but something is not right. But, and like Tyler Smith, he still has those issues when it comes to doing some holding penalties from time to time.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So my question is though, Mike, we know we've got the talented players. Do you think it might be time to actually reevaluate the coaching? Because I've been saying this for a long time. We've not really had a proper Great Wall of Dallas offensive line since we've really had Colombo back at in the coaching realms.
Yeah, and that's obviously we're talking about back in the day, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin in his prime. It's sad to see Zach Martin be this way at this age. Because every Cowboys fan knows, and when you just talked about the Great Wall. That Dallas has a very rich history when it comes to a quality offensive lineman.
A tradition, yeah.
Their offensive line has always been solid. And when you talk about offensive linemen, there's so many names, but then you say Zach Martin, and you go, "Oh yeah, he's up there. He's up in the top 10." And you're like,
"It's
wow.
going to be like, let's be honest, right? So Zach Martin's going to be in the Ring of Honor for the Dallas Cowboys in the future.
Oh yeah,
and even in the NFL Hall of Fame. The only thing missing from Zach Martin right now is obviously having the ring on his finger. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, because when you look at the career of Zach Martin, like, he's given up probably the least amount of penalties than any offensive lineman, and probably in the last 12 to 15 years. Like, yeah, I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but it's a good guess. Like, and I remember it. The uproar when we drafted Zach Martin ahead of Johnny Manziel. You remember that uproar? Like,
oh yeah,
it's like everyone wanted Johnny football. I didn't want him because we know what he like.
I didn't want him, and I'm an Aggies fan.
There you go. That says a lot. But it's like we needed someone to come in and protect Tony Romo at the time. He did that. Okay, and what has Zach Martin done over since? He's blocked. He's done everything. He's been an absolute pillar to this offensive line over the course of the years. Even now, even though he's struggling, he's like. And I'm about to move on, and I don't want to be singling out players. I really don't want to, because it is a team. It is a team problem as I see it, but I feel as though he's trying to like compensate to help is a fellow offensive lineman as of right now, as in Terrence Steele and obviously Cooper Beebe, because obviously him being a rookie. But where it comes to Terrence Steele, we are seeing a massive decline in his performance since his injury. Whether that's something to be reflective on that, I have no idea. But the fact is, Terrence Steele is not that same guy that we had three seasons ago, where he was a run blocking monster. You had multiple people, even people on the Pat McAfee show, talking about how how destructive Terrence Steele looked during that season 3 seasons ago. We're not seeing that anymore. It's like a shell of that same player. And hate me all you want for what I'm about to say. Like, hate me for all you want what I'm saying. Sorry. Like, I'm just, and this is, it's, the evidence is there. When you're watching a Dallas Cowboys game, whether you're at on the watching it from the screen, or you're there in attendance at AT&T Stadium, or somewhere anywhere in the NFL, like whether it's Cleveland or whoever, like where we're attending the game to watch these Dallas Cowboys right now, it's demoralizing to see what's happening right now. So the question I like thinking right now is, we have had Mike Solari, our offensive line coach, and for 2 years now, right? You would like to think, with a guy with this wealth of experience as an offensive lineman coach, why is it going so wrong right now? That's the question, because he's been under the tutelage of the Tom Landry days. He's been with multiple colleges as an offensive lineman coach. He's never held really an OC role. He's just stuck as an O-line coach, purely specifically offensive lineman coach, from multiple places, from college to multiple NFL teams. Last time, previously before the Cowboys, he was there at the Seattle Seahawks. Did a okay job there, but I just don't understand. I just don't understand what is going on right now. We can't seem to create the gaps. Our running backs, again, that could be down to coaching as well, to our running backs coach, getting them into the right state of mind, getting them to be more aggressive. I just don't know what is going on right now. Like, there's just a big disconnect what is going on right now. Yeah, we're 3-3 right now. You could say our season is still somewhat can be salvaged. Yeah. And I mean, it's fair when you look at the numbers right now. Yeah, it can be, but it's a more deeper concern right now.
Yeah,
because we care about this team so much. Not just us here who are based in the UK, but our friends in Germany, our friends in Italy, our friends in France and Spain, and our friends in Japan, our friends in Canada, and like our good friend, NFL International Fan of the Year, Eduardo Flores. Like, we're all feeling the exact same right now, and it's so frustrating to see.
I think that the issue with the offensive line is very, very simple. Is that you can have a very, very solid offensive line, but if you've got one weak link, and you know this playing offensive line, that your offensive line is only as good as your weakest player on those starting five, on those front five. And unfortunately,
unfortunately it's a chain reaction. Unfortunately,
it does, and it goes down. But when you stop and you look at it, Terrence, we could talk about Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton is a separate conversation that we have for a number of reasons. Okay, rookie, left tackle, a lot of pressure going on there. He's got a lot to take on. You know, he played right tackle in college. There's all these swirling different things that need to happen. Okay, he's a separate conversation. What is not a separate conversation is what's happening on the right side of the line with Terrence Steele and Zach Martin. Unfortunately, that entire right-hand side of the line is just falling apart. Zach Martin's long in the tooth, and Terrence Steele is just struggling for whatever reason, whether it's a psychological or it's an athletic issue. They're both just having their problems. And if you've got two guys on the entire same side of the line having problems, you're going to have problems on that offensive line. That means that's it. You may as well have no offensive line because those guys are struggling over there. It's the way it works. But the issue as well is it's twofold. Is that it's not that they're having trouble in pass blocking and they're okay in run blocking. It's both. They're struggling in both regard. And it's crazy to say because 3 seasons ago, so not last season, season before that, as a tandem, Zach Martin and Terrence Steele were linking up together as one of the most effective duo as an offensive lineman when it comes to run blocking. Those guys were steamrolling people, getting into the second level, combo blocking, everything over there. And you watched the results. You watched guys like Tony Pollard coming out and just bursting out of the gate and running down the field. You know, these things were happening. Now, all of a sudden, it's a struggle. What also does not help the offensive line is the fact that the defense is leaking so many points. Because what's happening with the offensive line is they now become easy to control because you're playing one-dimensional. And so that is what, and you know, there's no play action, there's no controlling the clock, there's no possession. And so that it makes their jobs harder as well. So you've got an issue of that they can't do any of the blocking up front and the defense isn't helping them out either.
No, you're right. Another factor we haven't really mentioned about is probably obviously the play calling, right? And I'm going to go back to this game.
It is weak.
Especially,
yeah.
It's been woeful. It really has. It's become that predictable what we're doing. It really is. But the thing that really annoyed me, and and everyone talks about the culture of the team and stuff like that, the identity of this team. I saw no fight in this team at one point of this game. No, and let me tell you,
agree.
Mike.
Yeah.
The point when we were 34-6, right? We were 4th down on 12. The game's already over by then, right? We still decided to go for the field goal with nothing else to lose.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I was like, at that point, why
That's
not?
A give up play. That's a give up play.
Why not go for it? Why not? Why not? Got nothing else to lose. Show a bit of balls and do something about it.
Well, if anything else, you find out a little something about your team.
Exactly. Who's up for it? Who's going to be the guy to try and salvage this game? We had none of that, or like not even given the guys the opportunity. So that's on Mike McCarthy in that one. I'm sorry, but that's on him.
I'll go a little bit yes with you. Yes, I agree. In terms of the play call, 100% I'm with you. Play calling in general has been a little confusing. Like some of it, like if it, I still don't understand why, if we're 2nd and long, why are we running the ball? Like we're not running the ball very effectively as it is, but why is it we're 2nd and 8 and you're calling a running play? So anyway, there's that. But also, something I've noticed. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, where's the balls? But I think some of it as well is the coaches have seen the giving up on the players. CeeDee Lamb, man, when this team gets behind, he just disappears. He crawls into a shell and he is gone. The interception, the interception, Brian Branch. We've seen it last year. See the interception by Brian Branch, right? Okay, there's 2 things. Okay, people say Dak threw a bad ball, and you're not wrong. Okay, you're not wrong. But what happened was, there was a very, very clever, intelligent play by Brian Branch.
He was fantastic. You got to give him. It was a fantastic effort from the Detroit Lions point of view. Really, read that to a T.
Branch baited Dak all the way into that, right? He was supposed to be covering down. I think it was either Turpin or Talbot. I forget which one it was. And he's coming in as if he's going to cover him on as he's coming out wide.
Then he drops back.
And then he just slides right back and he just baits him all the way. Now, what is crazy is on that play, if you go back and watch it, Brian Branch could theoretically not have caught that interception, or at least contested it a little to a point where the interception doesn't become an interception because he didn't catch it all the way through. You know, the rules on a catch. So he drops the ball, traps it on the ground, whatever. No interception. The way that happens is CeeDee Lamb, who's coming running across, sees Branch, catches it, and just carries on running past him.
There was no competing for the ball. He just gave up.
Yeah, why not, right? He's just made that interception. You got momentum. Crash into the guy. Force him to have to make that interception. Even if he still makes the interception, you're going to at least blow the wind out of him. So when he gets back up, he's like, oh, I got the interception. When he gets back on the bench, he's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that again.
You've got to do something, but nothing. There's nothing there. Lamb just carries on screwing, runs off to the sideline, play is over. And I'm watching that and I'm going, see that play there? That is an example of a guy who is giving up in every regard. He does not care. The only thing he's caring about right now is, where's my glory? There's no glory in this. So...
As much as I love Lamb, I can't disagree with what you're saying. I can't.
No.
Everything you're
it's
saying
the worst part of his game. It's the worst part of his game.
When his head's down, it reflects on the rest of the team.
It's done, and everything funnels through him, unfortunately, on this offense.
And to make matters even worse, right? And again, this kind of goes now onto the blame of the front office. We could have brought Dak and CeeDee Lamb down a lot sooner. Probably, maybe even cheaper.
Right? Yeah, rather definitely.
not paying the pure absolute premium of contracts right now. Right, giving more voidable years, which is going to cause us more heartache in the years to come, likely. Right, that's one point. Right, if we were to get those contracts sooner, Lamb would have been at training camp, be more in sync.
There you go. There you go.
Like, that's the issue I've got with this. It's like when you leave things to the last minute and not having our best players connecting on a regular basis, especially for during training camp, to run through this particular offense, there's going to be a big disconnect along down the line, and we're seeing that unfold right before our very eyes.
Yeah.
It's
and
just to add, like, not just us, our good friends J Tuck, our good friend Nix, multiple people in the Dallas Cowboys content creation world have all said the same thing. Every one of them, from Law Nation, who's has been going on about this for months about this.
Yeah, you know, it is frustrating. It really is, and it just so I've got a question for you. I got a good question here for you, right, Paul? In terms of the defense, right? Because the defense, I think, is, if you want to say which.
Wait, sorry, mate. Are we moving on to the defense?
I'm just gonna say like that because you've got the offense.
I was just going to say, before we do that, let's do a wee commercial break and grab a wee breather first.
All right, then. Let's go for that.
Yeah. Right, folks, we'll be back with you in one wee moment.
The World's Team Podcast is brought to you by Cowboys Experience. The ultimate Cowboys experience with stadium tours, meet and greets, tailgating, game tickets, and much more. For more information, please go to www.cowboysexperience.com.
Yeah, be sure to go and check out cowboysexperience.com. Use the discount code ROASTTEAM2024 where you'll receive a big massive discount on your upcoming packages. Yeah, so sorry about that, Mike, pure causing a bit of confusion, but yes. So feed me into...
Gotta pay the bills. Gotta pay the bills, man.
Yeah. And big shout out to our sponsor, who's been absolute rock. Big to Barry and Michael and the whole crew. But yeah, Mike, as you were saying, my apologies.
Okay. No, you're all right, brother. You got it. So what I was going to say is, when I look at the Cowboys team, if you say which is worse, offense or defense, I'd say the defense is worse right now, okay? Unfortunately. But here's a question for you, is how much of this can you put on injuries? Because remember, we had injuries before the season started with like Sam Williams, good friend Sam Williams. Sorry. So we've got injuries. So what is it to blame? Injuries, personnel that we didn't reload, that we lost during the off season, or Mike Zimmer? Because right now you're looking at Dan Quinn over at the Commanders, leading the NFC East. His roster is okay, there's holes in it. They've still got some way to go. But look at what Dan Quinn's doing. Dan Quinn's defense last year, forget about the playoffs, about Green Bay. We'll talk about that in a separate in a different part of the conversation. But last year's defense was not bad. The Cowboys defense was good. And then all of a sudden we get to this year and everything is just falling apart. The run defense is worse than what it was. But the one thing we did have last year was an effective pass rush. We don't even have that now.
Not necessarily, Mike. We did fizzle out more. We fizzled out at the tail end of last season with the pass rush.
Yeah. But I'm just saying generally, like you look at the entire season, the Cowboys' defense was not bad.
Yeah, we're barely even getting to the quarterback this season. Here's the thing, though, Mike. Here's the thing. Like, I was really excited for Mike Zimmer to come on board. I was really excited about it.
I'm with
really
you there.
was.
Yeah.
Like, I do like Mike Zimmer's approach to how he goes about things. Really, we've not even seen him get in the face of players as of yet. But the thing that annoys me, and I don't know if you noticed this, I noticed it when I was watching the broadcast of this. Certain players on the sideline who are injured, not necessarily trying to help their teammates, but having their feet up, having a laughing conversation while their teammates are actually on the field. That annoyed me. And I'm not going to mention names who. I'm not going to mention names who in this one. But I was flipping, I almost cursed there. I was absolutely livid because it to me is like they have no respect in a way. Like, how would I put this? It kind of feels to me like the Dan Quinn influence was so good, so great, and having someone else come in, it seems like some of these particular players are actually rejecting the coaching in a way. Yeah. If that makes sense, or rejecting the philosophy of what
philosophy. Yeah,
it kind of feels like the only person that seems to be getting on board with us is like Eric Kendricks and Overshawn, our linebackers. Those two guys I will name, and they actually are trying to do things for this team.
I would say Damone Clark as well. He's starting to sort of creep back in to the way of things.
Well, he's kind of forced. He's kind of forced to it, to be fair.
Yeah, true. That also, yeah. But I mean, it's strange because we all had high hopes. We thought, Zimmer's going to come in. He's going to put, a screwdriver to all of this and tighten it all up. But it doesn't seem to be going that way. Basically, my question really is, we all said we were worried about Mike Zimmer. We were like, is this just going to be a 1 year wonder from him? That we're going to see this. Mike McCarthy goes out the door, Zimmer goes with him. But my question right now is, you're seeing this defense. Does Mike Zimmer even last the year? How long has he got? And I got another question for you on this one too.
Well, after what Jerry's been saying, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Take it with a pinch of salt, yeah.
Well, not recently. Anyway, the way he's been saying it talking to the press.
Yeah, we'll talk about that now.
Well, what
let's do the Zimmer.
No. Let me finish, Mike. Let me finish. I'm trying to find the right words what to say here.
Yeah.
The words that Jay has been saying, obviously, he's no intention of making any coaching stuff. He does make a valid point in what he's trying to say. Like, if you get rid of your coaches now, then it's a complete write-off. And it kind of goes back to the point that we were saying is like the disadvantages of tanking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're tanking your season Like, obviously, yeah, you'll have a much more better chance of getting a better draft pick and stuff like that. But yeah, but at the same time, if you're really cash strapped on the salary cap, it makes no sense. You're going to pay more for a first round draft pick, and it's going to affect your salary cap even more. That's one thing that people forget to
in one
forget
way.
about.
Yeah.
So I can understand. So making this coaching change might hinder that. Means Jerry might have to pay more and even more contracts. And we know what Jerry's like with contracts. He's the one that signs those checks. So so that's.
So you think Zimmer will just go through the entire season, no matter what, no matter the result? We're just going to see Zimmer all the way through.
It really depends after Thanksgiving, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think after Thanksgiving,
the standard statement of see where your franchise is by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, pretty much so. I think.
All right. Well, here's a question.
And regards to Mike McCarthy, I think he will be there regards to end of the season. Like, he'll be there by the end of the season. But the way how things are going right now, it'd be very hard to even think about like bringing McCarthy back if this is the way things are going. But at the same time, like, it's so weird. It's such a like. I want to be mad at McCarthy, but I also feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
the reason I feel sorry for him, he's not getting the acquisitions he really wants to bring into this team due to the front office. Like, he really wants to build this team. Like, do you remember the hijacking of the NFL draft that one year where Dan Quinn pretty much had the full control of what he wanted in this draft to help the defense? He got that, and obviously Mike McCarthy was just like left with one or two picks, like more or less compensation to add more to the offense. That was it. So he's kind of been left high to dry in some regard, like not given a contract extension, all that type of stuff. But at the same time, he is not.
I do think he's been treated fairly.
You think he's been treated unfairly?
I do. For not up until this point.
I do as well. I generally do as well. But I'm also mad at him at the same time because because every team is dealing with this type of scenario where you need to work what you've got with, and clearly, like there's a big divide in terms of like when starters are not featured and some backups are playing, there's a big quality difference there as well. Like we can
Cowboys
go on it. That's the problem. Where like it goes back to the whole Belichick saying the next man up philosophy. Players
and there were teams that somehow, like you said, they'll find a way of next man up. And they'll find a way to make it somehow work, but it seems to be with the Cowboys, they're top heavy, and the attitude's always been, well, our roster's better than yours, so we'll get away with it. But then when they're not top heavy anymore, nothing seems to work.
Yeah, but folks, if you're watching the show on YouTube, be sure to give us your thoughts on this situation with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Like, what are you happy with? What you're not happy with? Should Zimmer go? Should Mike McCarthy go? Like, we want to hear everyone's opinions wherever you are in the world, because this is obviously the world's team. But yeah, Mike, I know we mentioned about the front office quite a lot in this show this week. This week could not been any more messed up.
Yeah. Let's finish. Let's finish on this moment. Yeah, for definite with the radio.
Yeah. So as people are aware, Jerry Jones is a regular coming on to the radio show 105.3 The Fan, hosted by Shan Sheriff, RJ Choppy, and my good friend Bobby Bell. And essentially, what happened was it was just a simple questions that Cowboys fans just want to know. What are you going to do to fix things? It's well deserved. And here's the I'll go into my next point in a second. But yeah, basically what happened was Shan just asked simple questions. What are you basically going to do to try and fix this team? I mean, I understand that it was Jerry's 82nd birthday and we're absolutely embarrassed at home again by the Detroit Lions, where a Detroit Lions team were actually trying to use offensive linemen as wideouts in that game. That's embarrassing. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Absolute trolling to the highest level. Like the Lions came in there for blood, they got it. Congrats to the Ravens. You got your revenge on us from last year. And no doubt the Lions are going to be one of the top dogs, and they're going to be playing the Vikings this week. So that's going to be the game I'm actually going to be curious to watch. Obviously, we're not playing this week because we're on our bye week. So very interesting to see. But it's the fact that Jerry threatened essentially Shan and the crew. It's like I'm paying you guys. No, you do not, Jerry. You do not pay 105.3 the fan.
They actually pay you.
They pay you. And to call like Shan, Bobby, and RJ not fans of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm sorry. They know more football than obviously us, but they are probably the most passionate guys on radio when it comes to it, and in the public, in terms of the public media for Dallas Cowboys as of right now. Like you've got Bobby, who's on the draft show with Brian Broaddus, and you've got RJ joining other radio shows as guests and talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I just find it so bizarre, and it was just completely out of order. Like, don't get me wrong, this is not the first time Jerry's done this. Remember when he did that to James Slater a couple of years ago? He eventually made amends, but even still, it's like they're doing their job. Like, the way I'm seeing it, Mike, it's like Jerry wants to be praised for all the things he's done right, but never ever wants to be criticized.
Yeah, that's standard. Yeah, he's always been that way as well.
But here's a question for you, right? And this is for a question for all the viewers watching this right now and listeners. If Jerry Jones were two people, the owner, Jerry Jones, and the GM, Jerry Jones, do you think the owner, Jerry Jones, would be happy how the GM, Jerry Jones, is doing things right now? I wouldn't.
No.
The owner, Jerry Jones, would actually fire the GM, Jerry Jones, a long, long time ago. Let's be perfectly honest here.
Yeah. When you just look at the playoff drought, I mean, the playoff drought on its own.
Almost 30 years, Mike. Almost 30 years.
Yeah.
We've not reached an NFC championship game. 30 years. Yeah. I was 8 years old since the last Super Bowl. 8.
Yeah.
8 years old. I've been waiting since I was 8 years old.
I was 12.
It's frustrating as hell.
It's great.
I mean, apologies to our viewers and listeners. I know it's not the best situation to be in, but we do need to cover this and try and get everyone's perspective on how they see things. What we like, because end of the day, like fans from all across the world, myself, I'll be going to the Dallas Cowboys and Texans game in a couple of weeks, and frankly, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not looking forward to it as it stands right now. I think that's
not a good feeling when that's your money, all that money you're going to. I know, like there's other things involved, like friends and all the rest of it, which is really why we go over. But it's still like you're still going over there spending money. You're going to be spending money on tickets, merch, drinks, all the rest of it. You're like
not just that, mate. The most expensive tickets in the NFL. More than do you remember the most expensive ticket was for that New Orleans Saints game, the first home game of the season. The most expensive ticket was $2,534 or something like that. The cheapest ticket, obviously, was the Carolina Panthers at $25. Big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? I mean, it's like I'm still going to go to these games because that's what fans do, right? Still want to cheer your team on, regardless.
This is what Jerry plays off. He knows that fans will just keep coming back.
Sadly,
yeah.
Like,
because he knows how passionate the Cowboys fans are. Wherever they are across the world, he knows they are. So they know that they will keep flocking in. He can still set whatever he wants and nothing will change. So he can keep doing what he wants.
I know. I mean, if there's a lot, I mean, if Jerry wants his praises, I will give it to him. He has, if there's one thing as an owner, he's done a marvelous job. He's built a world-class facility. Maybe like he's built a world-class stadium.
The detail in it all.
Although, even though he's built a world-class stadium, it comes with flaws, like the glass doors, with the light coming. Like, of all the things, right? You can have concerts there, you can have other events, and have the like basically
the curtains,
the curtains down. But when it comes to a Cowboys game, we can't have the curtains. Someone make that sense to me. I just don't understand that. And
mate, me and you before, right? And so people know for context, years ago as well, we have fought Jerry's corner where we've backed him up, even like with the boys who work in the Cowboys facilities. We've been on conversations with them live on air and stuff, and we've backed Jerry up. We said, look, he is doing the best he can, pressure job, We've said all of these things in the past and tried to have his back, but there is a limit to all of that, and this is the limit. You are cracking point now.
Yeah, and the fact that it's obviously getting to Jerry now. The fact that the media are asking him to explain himself, and Jerry doesn't like that.
No, because he's getting the hard questions.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the role of a GM, is to take on these hard questions when things aren't going good. How are you going to address them? That's what a general manager does. He looks to find solutions.
Yeah,
and more simpleton terms, that's what a GM should be doing. But when you're the owner and the GM, you can't sack yourself. Obviously,
yeah. So you just you are unaccountable to anybody.
And this is just a way. Like, I'm not trying to foresee into the future or anything like that, but say we do move away from Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer completely, it's going to be a completely new rebuild, right? If I was a up and coming offensive coordinator, I don't know, Ben Johnson or something like that, or a hot college head coach looking to make a stab in the NFL, I would avoid the Cowboys right now. Do you want to know why? It's because we've no control.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, we do have some degree of control in a way of the decision making when it comes to the draft with likes of Wilbur Clay, who has been a star for the Cowboys of making some really good choices. Don't get me wrong, like last year's draft is still with like Mazzy and Schoonmaker and stuff like that, but in terms of his overall record, McClay has done a fantastic job of bringing acquisition in, but it's the problem we haven't managed to utilize it. So, but if you're bringing in a brand new head coach next year or whatever, if we do decide to do that,
I think they will.
I know I think they will, but it's not going to be a young up and coming person. It's going to be someone. It's going to be someone
established with a history.
Established with a history. Someone Jerry. Basically, it's going to be someone's Jerry's yes man, essentially. And we're probably going to get a lot of trouble for this show today. Probably.
Just don't show it to the boys over in Frisco. That's all.
But we need to speak our mind as fans. Why we're so frustrated.
Yeah,
like we can't always like suck up in a way. We need to be brutally honest about this football team. Like, and don't get me wrong. I've met Jerry. I shook his hand. He's like, I have the utmost respect for him, like for what he's built in terms of what he's built. It is
Mm.
essentially Jerry's world, and it's a pure spectacle. He is probably the best marketing genius I have ever seen.
Oh,
Until
without a doubt.
he can literally turn a turd into gold. He really can. But in terms of running the football team, I don't know how many years as fans been saying this. Like,
just get out of the way.
Like, yeah. But yeah, folks, it's not necessarily the being the most positive show that we've ever done for the World's team. But yeah, Mike, if there's one thing, as it stands right now, I'm trying to think of a positive way to end the show.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the next steps to try and somewhat get back on board, try and get into the saving grace? Obviously, win games, but there's only
how do you get to winning games? Okay, there's a nice easy answer to this. Nice easy answer. So in the next couple of weeks, we get Deron Bland back, we get Micah Parsons back, we get Brandon Cooks back. You can have Tyler Guyton back in the starting lineup. Okay, whatever, but we're talking about offensive line cohesion. You're going to get all of these players back, and what we're hoping is that this bye week, the coaches take a long look at what they're doing wrong and put the corrections. Zimmer, just please, if you take anything from this show, if you watch it, stop playing so much base defense. It's too predictable. Just start mixing stuff up. That would be nice. And then you just hope that with some healthy players back on the roster, with a bit more of a solid plan and better preparation, you'll see the team start stacking wins. The issue will be is if they start getting stuck in a rut again, because it's not a team or a coaching staff that can pull themselves out of that.
Yeah, I really don't know personally what we could do. I'm just a wee bit of a whirlwind right now. Like
Brandon Aubrey.
I'm still going to stand for it. Brandon Aubrey will break the NFL record this year. If that's one record we're going, I'll be happy to see. Is that would be one thing I'll be happy to see. But yeah, folks. Obviously, it's a Friday show. Normally, we do record it on a Saturday, but due to scheduling conflicts, we decided to kind of record early this week. But we will be back. We may actually do an early show next week, because obviously with the lead up coming up for the game the following week against San Francisco. But yeah, folks. Again, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share. You know the drill. But yeah, folks, before we do go, Mike, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Kenfig Cowboy. Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K. And what about you, Mr. P?
You can find me at I am P Stu on X and Instagram. But yes, folks, that is the end of basically the World's team rant, essentially. But yeah, we will be back next week. Praying for our souls for this up and coming San Francisco game, even though they're not doing too well at the moment. But who knows? They
got injuries too.
Yeah, they got injuries too. But we'll save that for next week. But yeah, folks, like we said, we'll be back next week. And as always, it's not just America's team, it is the World's team. See you guys next time.
You've been listening to the World's Team Podcast. There's no other team like it in the world. Nothing more electrifying than the Dallas Cowboys. And we're here to prove it. We bring in fan groups from Germany, France, Brazil, the UK, Canada, Japan. We're everywhere, baby. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram at the.worlds.team, on Twitter at the_worlds_team, and on YouTube at the Worlds Team. How about them Cowboys?
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
See you next time.